Hello everyone, how's it going? Dr. Incompetent here, and let's resume our complete beginner's guide to blueprints, shall we? And it's day 2. And if we look at this, this is what we see on day 2 with our map and blueprint screen. No rooms placed, all we have are the antechamber and the entrance hall. Our red envelope that we have found is, the icon is still here. We have 50 steps, it says day 2. And we have 1 star that's permanent in the lower right. So, what we want to do is talk about today how your iterations will unfold. And what I mean is, how will your subsequent days play out given the information? How do we build on what we know and use our previous knowledge and notes to make better choices, but also to understand more about the game itself? So you get to pick if you want to go left, up, or right, but we also have a choice of if we want to go out and explore the grounds themselves and just kind of poke around outside. Now this can be useful, but it does take steps. And for my money, we might go out here and look, depending, and it's worth your time. I would recommend it like this. If you accidentally, early game, find yourself blocked off, you got a lot of steps left over, just go look around outside, see what's out there. But I wouldn't start there just yet because it puts us at a deficit. So let's instead, to be honest, we want more information before we go out there, probably. Let's just go to the right. Okay, so we have a closet, a storeroom, and a corridor. And if we consult our notes here, we have taken the corridor. We have taken the storeroom, and did we ever take the closet? We took the utility closet. No, just the utility closet. Okay, so the closet we actually haven't taken yet. I don't like taking a dead end so early, but at the same time, I think it's okay just to get a closet so that we can check it off our list and see what it's all about. All right, so we've got the closet, and let's go inside. And remember, it says 2 items. So one of those items here is a gem. We'll pick it up. And we also got the shovel. So we click on the shovel, and it says, an old weathered shovel looks like it could be useful for digging. And throughout the game, I don't know if it's surprising, but just like indubitably, there are dig spots within the home that we can find and dig up, and there are probably some outside if we go around and poke around outside. So now we can dig those up and see what we get. So when the closet says items, it means it could be a coin, a key, a gem, item like that, or it could be a special item that goes into our inventory like the shovel. So let's go ahead and list the closet on our notes. And, we got 2 items, and we got a gem and a shovel, but these will be randomized. So even though, that's what we got this time, these items are indeed going to be random each time. I am at position 1,4, and in this room, we see a picture of a tree and a pin. So, thinking about that, remember we're trying to find words that these correspond to that are very close. And so I know that's a pin. What I do with these is, it's at first I might call it a safety pin, but safety pin is just too wordy. It's got too many letters to compare to anything else. So you're going for really, really bare, essential, concise words like pin. And how about pine? So that tree could be a fir tree, a pine tree, a regular tree, but in this case, it's just pine. So that means that the letter we are missing here is an E on 1-4. And I actually want to show you something here on our notes. I'm going to search for 1,4. And I'm going to see if I have written that down again, and I have. And I wrote it here for hallway. And the reason I want to show you this is because now we start to see something interesting. What we see here is that potentially, and let's verify this by examining other rooms and corroborating this discovery, but basically, the pictures that we're seeing are not potentially unique to the room, but to the location on the grid. So you'll notice how, I'll show you just to verify this. Let me turn this off. When I come back out, by the way, I've gotten everything. You can look around, make sure you have everything, click around, look at everything in the closet, like this umbrella and hat and suitcases and all kinds of stuff, and, cans of paint or whatever is in here. Notice how this Queen of Diamonds and this Ace of Spades are the same as before as well. And that's fixed with the hallway. In fact, every time we come into the hallway, or the entrance hall rather, we know that this is always going to be at rank 1, column 3. And if these are there, then that's fixed. And if those two pictures have been fixed at that spot, I think we can reasonably, deduce that this might be the case for all positions, that the pictures are not dependent upon the room that they're in, but the position. Now, that being said, as we saw before, some rooms do not display pictures, so that would preclude you from seeing them. But for now then, another part of the puzzle has been revealed. And let's look at this one and see if we can get this done. So Queen of Diamonds and Ace of Spades. Now, they're both cards, so we can't use the word card and compare them. But one way to think about this is, what kind of cards are they? Well, that's an ace, and that's the Queen of Diamonds. But that doesn't work with ace. But what does work is face. It's a face card. So you've got face cards, you've got aces, and then let's go ahead and open up our notes and go over here and find the entrance hall. Here it is. And we're going to edit this so that it's no longer the Queen of Diamonds and the Ace of Spades. We're just going to say it's face and ace, which gives us an F. And this is at position 1-3. And then this, which we changed, is going to be E, because we said it's pine, pin. Okay, perfect. Now that's a dead end. So let's really, really lean into as many rooms as possible. Now, by the way, I will mention, I've been getting some great comments from people, from other experienced players of the game on the first guide series video, and I do want to mention that they've been good about not spoiling, and this is the way that we're kind of doing this guide series. If the information is present on the screen, then, and we come into it in the run, then we're going to kind of say it's not a spoiler if we can infer the information logically from what's presented without having any knowledge of what happens later in the game. So I missed a lowercase word on one of the cards, which is west, and we're going to look for that again, but that was pointed out. Thank you so much. And there are also some good tips that are listed there about if we look at the map, how, well, actually I won't say anything because we'll need to find the card that explains that. Let's go here. Okay. So again, there's the lavatory, which we have not yet drafted. There's also the guest bedroom, which I don't think we took. And then there's the den. The den in my Let's Play is my most drafted card. Every time I see it, I generally draft it, and that is because it has 3 doors and it gives you a gem. I just take it every time. I love it. And in this case, it's the same deal. Why is it the same deal? Because I don't want another dead end and another dead end. I already have one dead end. I already took the closet where I probably wouldn't normally, just to get it off our list of rooms to show. And I'm going to put a den right here. And let's get this gem. And then let's look at these cards. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to search for the den. And where did we put the den before? Actually, in the same exact position, which is kind of funny. So with the den, we have prey, crowbar, pry bar. And if you look at the word prey and you look at the word pry, you take out the bar, you see that it's prey and pry. And the missing letter here is an A. So we actually have an A, an F, and an E that we've got listed here along the bottom. We've verified that this is an A, an F, and an E so far. So that's kind of what we know. And let's go to the corner and see what we can get. Okay. There's a nook, a parlor, and a bedroom. Now, we've taken all of these before. These are all great. I'm actually going to take the nook because it gives us a key. And I already have a gem. A key is good. And, ooh, indeed, we got it. Sweet. We get the magnifying glass. The magnifying glass you can find sometimes in the den right here by this lamp. This lets us inspect documents more closely. So, for example, if I look at this and you slide it over, well, all it really does, you could see is like, well, that's not that great, right? Because it just zooms in. But no, look closely. Wait. Look at this. Boom. And boom. There is right here a picture of a journal that someone is keeping about the game. And this actually tells us how to solve the billiard puzzle that appears in the billiard room. And the puzzle itself is played with the dartboard. But with this, we can see that there are a color-coded order of operations that move, as we will see, when we do this puzzle, if we can draft it this time. The magnifying glass is one of the best tools that you can get. Inspect every document that you have found with this thing, because like at first I was like, well, what's so great about that? Look everywhere. There'll be microscopic text that, you can't really make that out by itself, but now when you look at it, you could see, oh, okay, this tells you the billiard puzzle notes, tells you how to do it. It also tells you about the antechamber. It says the antechamber appears to be sealed by all 4 sides, which is what we can see. But there must be a way to open it, right? So how do we figure out how to open it? And it says something about many secrets that he will take to his grave. Okay. I mean, I'm just guessing. The ribbon is kind of laying over that, but it looks like it says Sinclair has many secrets that he will take to his, and there's a G and it's covered, but take to his grave is a popular idiom. So that's interesting too. So let's add this. Let's kind of go over to the Nook, and I'm going to go to my notes. I'm going to add the black card says redraw, but it oh, this is the wrong section. Here we go. I also took the Nook at 1-1 previously, and that's kind of funny. But honestly, it makes sense to take the Nook right here because it's a corner and because in the beginning of the game, your pool of cards is pretty limited. So you're going to see a lot of the same rooms. And the common rooms will show up more often, obviously, as well. So the black card we had beside, but let's add some more information. And I'm just adding everything. I'm not sure what to make of it. I'm not going to write out fully right now the notes for the billiard puzzle, because I'll apply those when we actually get to it. But there are other places where you can find these notes about this puzzle as well. And you put all of the pieces together, all of the clues together, they add up and give you a really, really good idea of how to do these things. But this is everything you basically need right now. And you could write all of this down if you wanted, but that's something great that the magnifying glass does for us. Now, let's look at the pictures in this room. We have a... okay, so we have the flan and we have the sand, but the way that I looked at this, let me go over here to our notes. Instead of flan, we could call it a dessert, and then instead of sand, we could call it a desert. So then if it's desert and dessert, the difference is S. So now we have an S at position 1, 1. And this is awesome. So S, and then an A, and then an F, and then an E, and that spells the word safe. So I don't know if that's the way to read this. You know, I don't know if it's just reading it left to right, word by word, or if there's more to it. But definitely, I have something going on, and that's a pattern to continue to observe. We don't have full information to understand if that's the right way to interpret the code, if that is what that is, but it looks promising. All right, let's go up this way. Okay, so spare room, laboratory, guest bedroom. Okay, so I haven't taken, I don't think I've taken the guest bedroom. I haven't. Now, I could take the spare room, but you see how I have, over here, I have 2 doorways going up. So let's just take the guest bedroom because it's a new room to us. And go in. And this is an awesome bedroom. And we get, boom, 10 steps. Now, one thing I want you to see up in the upper left there is to see that we went to 55 steps. So you can go over 50. All right, so in this bedroom, we can poke around. We see a ship. We see pictures of a plane and a plan. In fact, we've already been here. It was the drawing room last time, but now it is the guest bedroom. And, you know, there's like some weird white chalk kind of drawn on the wall over there. And there's this nautical theme. There's a basketball. There's a dog, a whale, a pawn chess piece, an anchor, and a letter. Sinclair, just wanted to write you a quick note thanking you for the weekend. I had a thrilling time on the hunt with Lord Evanson, whose peculiar personality somewhat made up for your own absence. I also got to appreciate your new game in the billiard room. It's been ages since I've seen the billiard room in the house. I was beginning to suspect you retired the floor plan. It was well worth the wait, though, as I always enjoy your mathematical puzzles and appreciated that I didn't need to know the rules of darts to play your variation, hoping your health improves shortly. So, this is signed, what, KL? What is this? Looks like it. And this is going with the billiard room. I'm using the magnifying glass. You could see here puzzle that we just talked about. So it gives us a little bit more information to add on to what we found there, which is that you don't need to know the rules of darts to play it. So let's say that we took, the guest bedroom, and it had a note from KL, and it has billiard puzzle clues. So far that's what we got, but we also know that this is at position 2-1 and had a plane and a plan, so then the letter appears to be E for this location. Okay? Anything else that we want to observe here? If I look outside, I see some trees, grass. We did get a pawn chess piece in here. Appears to be it, but 10 steps is 10 steps. So we've got a fresh spring in our step as we go back. And, oh, let's not forget the key in the den, of course. Need that. Okay. All right, rocking and rolling. And let's go north. This is kind of scary. We're going to take the parlor because I don't want a dead end. But it's alarming what choices we have. And we really hope that we can keep going. All right. So here is the parlor. We've taken this room before. Let's go get our key. And we can look at this and just see if there's any extra clues. It's worth telling you that the rules of the game never change. So obviously the house is changing, but the rules of the game don't change. But these will change. So this box contains gems, statement 1. The other 2 boxes contain gems. So we know this is false by the nature of the game rules. All 3 boxes contain gems. We also know this is false because of the nature of the rules. So these are both false, which means this must be true. So let's open it up. And indeed, we get 2 gems. Excellent. So remember, there's 1 true, there's 1 false, and there's 1 it could be true or false. So by process of elimination, by finding the 2 false ones, we know that that one has to be true. Okay. Open her up. Ooh, excellent. The chapel would progress us, but I like the passageway a lot right here. 2 gems is very pricey, but it guarantees 2 doors to keep us alive. And I'd rather have more chances at not perishing. So, this has stairs and stars, it looks like. So, let's see, where am I? I am at 2-2. Let me see if I can find this. Here we go. So before, 2-2 was actually the pantry. And I'm going to say, well, the difference is the letter I. And actually, if we look at this, we've got EI, and then the passageway is very, very austere. It's like a hidden or, passageway for just the guests, to go through. Or I'm sorry, not the guests, the servants, to go through. So there's no pictures. Let's go this way. Okay. Commissary, storeroom, spare room. The commissary is fine to build. I don't believe that we built it before. Let me check. Oh, we did. Okay. Even so, it's preferable. It doesn't really matter, actually. I think a spare room is fine then. So the spare room, as we've done before, it currently has nothing, but it is a passageway right across. And now we get the option to build the kitchen, which will dead end the nursery, or the storeroom. The storeroom will give, or the kitchen rather, will give me 2 rooms to look at, which is helpful. However, it's going to take a gem, which is not as great. I'm going to build it anyway. Have we built the kitchen? No. Okay, it's new. So great. So we're going to go inside, and it took a gem to build it. Oh, this is great. You know what's funny is I've built the kitchen so many times, but I usually build it on the interior. I love this game. I love how if you build the kitchen on the exterior wall, it has this whole side is windows. Normally, I think it's like cabinets or it's just a wall, right? But you can see the eastern grounds of the estate. You can see all these wires leading in. You can see this kind of statue over there in the columned area. And there are 2 pictures on the refrigerator. There is a minecart and a car. So a car, and a cart. All right, so let's start filling this in. The kitchen, and we are at 2.5, has a car and a cart, which the difference there is T. Okay, cool. And you can buy food in the kitchen. And the thing about this is, it's right here, the menu. This varies what you can purchase, but you could see for 2 coins you can buy a banana, and it tells you how many steps it restores. So if you buy bacon and eggs, you get the morning room to the draft pool for today, which is cool. And the main course, the porterhouse steak, will appear in the dining room. As it says right here, the main course is served only in the dining room. So if you build the dining room and then you have the kitchen, you can get the main course served there. And then there's a combo. If we have the showroom, because of the porterhouse steak, we can get an extra 10 steps. So really, really awesome. And it looks like there's nothing else for us in this room. Okay. Nice looking toaster. By the way, you can turn on the faucet, but you'll notice then that there is no water in the kitchen. It's not turned on. All right, let's go down here and see what we can make. Anything good? Have I done the nursery yet? I haven't. Okay. So let's do the nursery. It will take our last gem, but it's a new room for us. We get, you notice how it says whenever you draft a bedroom, you gain 5 steps? That includes the nursery, by the way. It's worth mentioning. So we have a lot of steps, but not much to use it on. All right? So everything in here could be a clue. Be mindful. Look at this Rubik's. Look at... Okay, there's 2 cribs in here in this nursery. Ooh, banana. That's not always there, but we got it. And now we're just an embarrassment of riches in terms of steps. There's a ball, there's a star, and we see 2 pictures. And what position are we at? This is at 1-5. Okay. So I'm going to... This is the nursery. And we're going to just say at 1-5, we see a picture of a deer and a price tag, or how about a stag and a tag? So that means the letter could be S. By the way, I could be wrong on these. This is just what I'm doing as I'm comparing the pictures and trying to find two words that they're so close that they're only one letter off. And what else is in here? This book with the red prince. The Red Prince by Marion Marigold. So this is in here. All right, so I'm putting these notes for the nursery. Oop, I didn't mean to do that. There was a red prince who sat on a red throne. He had a red crown made of rubies and a red castle made of stone. The prince had a love for all things red. It's the only true color, the prince often said. So, you know, is that true? He could not stand the sight of a canary or crow. He could not stand the white of the swan in the snow. Okay? And he never looked up for fear of the view. He had heard that the sky was not a red hue. So he always had a book to turn his eyes down if he was ever outside when the clouds weren't around. And do you know which book the prince always had, the one that made him happy whenever he was sad? A story he had read in the bath and the bed, and maybe you can guess with the clues that we have said. All right, just keep an eye on these pictures. Take screenshots of this if you'd like. It was the story of a boy who also wore red, and he looked like our prince from his toes to his head. And as you, my reader, might already assume, this book is quite near you. In fact, in the same room. A story about you, if it needs to be said, about a red prince and his book, the red book we just read. Okay? So, there's a nursery rhyme in here about a red prince, and the game is called Blue Prince, obviously. So there's something going on with this, and we need to be mindful and think about what that might mean. Why there is a street lamp in here, or two, I couldn't say. Interesting. All right, so now we're going to have to backtrack just a bit and hope to get lucky here at this passageway. We have no more gems, which is a little alarming. However, we should keep paying attention for any digging spots. And to be honest, that's a good point. I have... One of the things you want to do in this game, that I like to do anyway, is look at my resources and make decisions based on the surplus and surfeit of resources. So, like, what do I have a lot of and what do I not have very much of? I have no gems. And so if I were to go to the northern door of the passageway and try to draft a room, any gem rooms, any rooms that have a gem requirement, I wouldn't be able to make. And that limits my choices and increases the chances that I get a dead end here and have to end the run. So instead, before I draft, I could try to find a gem and increase my chances of getting a good room here. And I have a surplus of steps because we took the guest bedroom, because we found some food, we took the nursery. So let's go outside and let's look around. There is a fountain here. And we can look over on this side. There's a little path. It goes down here. Now look at our steps. We're at 51. Just pay attention. We've already lost some. Let's run down here. There is a door that's boarded up in the mountain here. You can look over the side. You can see, look down there. There's some kind of windows or archways there. There's a waterfall. There is this platform that looks out across to Mount Holly, and you can see that there are some kind of like pipes leading up to this. There's a bird bath. And then there's a tunnel. Now this is dark. So, going in here is interesting, but there's some torches that are not lit, and we really can't see anything at all. Like, there's a bunch of crates and stuff, but it's too dark, but okay. There's just happens to be a tunnel down here. Interesting. Now, what else do we have? Okay. Let's run over here. And there is a gate that is locked and we can't get through. So that way is blocked off. Let's run over here. Okay. This gate is open. We can go through. We lost a step there. Just understanding what these little parcels of land are. Okay, well, this is something. I don't know what. I can't get in, but it looks like a door. And I'm going to wind around on this path. And we find another gate. But it's closed this time. Bird bath again. And there's a campsite. And in fact, we lost a step. A little cook pot. This is our campsite. If we click on this, it says the campsite. Due to the rules set forth in your great uncle's will, you are not allowed to stay overnight in the estate. Luckily, however, your scouting skills have been put to good use to fabricate a very respectable off-site sleeping quarters. So this is where we sleep when we do sleep. You could see inside this tent there's some pillows, there's a bedroll. There is that duck that we found in the storeroom, interestingly. The tree that's been cut down. Some flowers. And as we come back, there's an orchard here, but it's locked with a padlock and a combination that we don't know the password to. Also, there appears to be some kind of structure here next to this. Some steaming stacks with those trees as well. And if I go up here, there's yet another door. Looks like the entrance to a mine, but it's closed. Okay, so I have now explored outside, and unfortunately, I was hoping to see if there would be any dig spots for us. You notice how, by the way, in the bottom right, it says private drive, and it has changed. And then if I go back over here, we're losing another step, and it says campsite. So there's different names for these zones. I'm okay just going back and forth, losing the steps, by the way, because we have so many steps right now. All right, so I was looking to try to find maybe a dig spot to see if we could scare up a gem to give us better chances of drafting something cool, but it's a good lesson that with what we have unlocked outside, we might not be finding any dig spots on this portion of the grounds. But that doesn't mean that we can't take some notes over here. So what did we find? We found a gate to west locked. We found a boarded up door in mountain. by falls. A tunnel. We found a door in mountain through east gate. We also found a fountain. We found a campsite, orchard, mines. And these are just a few of the highlights of the things that we found out here that are just worth jotting down. Okay, so let's go. We're going to go right up and see what we get. Okay, so the chapel or the pantry do not end our run. I like the chapel right here a lot because it takes money when you enter it, but we have no money. So that's fine. Now, I believe that we got the chapel before, didn't we? We did. Now, I'm going to tell you, again, take pictures of this and note all of these stained glass windows. You see how there's like a gardener with a Roman numeral 1 and what appears to be a chef with a baker's hat in Roman numeral 2, a rancher with like a pitchfork at Roman numeral 3, a chimney sweep at 4. Over here at 5 is like a maid with a broom. At 6 looks like a riding instructor with a crop. And 7 appears to be the queen with a scepter. So just make sure that you are getting those jotted down for yourself. And then let's see what's over here. Okay, tremendous. So the hallway will give us 2, but a dead end, so it's effectively the same as the corridor, actually. And because it's the same, I'm going to take the corridor. Because it's guaranteed not to be locked. Alright, so we see a picture of a tie or a necktie and a picture of a 3-tiered serving tray. So, where am I? I am at rank 3, column 1, in a corridor. Have I? Yes. So we already found the corridor, but let's list it at 3-1. And what we're going to have to do is change our notes. So it's a tie and a tier. So the answer is R. We're going to have to change our notes a bit. Oh, I'm at 3 2, not 3-1. And we're going to need to put these quadrants in order and not really attach them to rooms, I think, at this point. But that's still okay. We can do that later. Okay. So this is what I'm talking about, gem requirement. Unfortunately, did we take the lavatory? We didn't. So because we already took the utility closet, we need to take the lavatory just to do it once. I'm not saying this is strong, but I'm saying we can go in and see what's in here. And it is indeed all we'd expect, but there are at least pictures. Some red soap. The Sinclair towel. The bathtub. Some cabinets. Little soap. Okay. So this is at position 3-1. And we see a picture of a bird and a boat. Or we already saw 3-1 somewhere, right? Yeah, we did. This was the West Wing Hall before. How about instead of a bird and a boat, it's a crow and row. And we already have rowboat written there. So, and crow, to be honest. Crow, row means that this is a C. Okay, perfect. Alright, so now we've drafted this once and seen that this is as bad as to be expected. And we only have one door left. Okay. So we'll take the pantry to not lose, because everything else boxes is in. So let's take a pantry. We get a nice apple. Some steps back, a little money. And we can move this way. There is a clock and a lock. We are at 3-4. I'm just going to kind of put that in there as a C. Okay. And what can we get? Hallway is very good for us right here. 2 doors. We'll take it. Okay. So we have 2 pictures. And this is 4-4. Let me see if we did this one already. Okay. So 4-4, these pictures here, let's just say we see a match and a tree, but those are nowhere near each other. So what if this was fire instead, and this was a fir tree? Then it would be an E. Excellent. Okay. Let's go to the right. The boudoir. Remember, we upgraded this, so we get a gem if we go this way, and we do want gems. The storeroom would also give us a gem, though, and a key. But it would be a dead end. So let's take this, because we've upgraded it. And, oh, that's right. We get a synergy bonus from our nursery, which gives us an extra 5 steps. So there's the gem lying over there. But don't think that that's everything. Go ahead, take a look around. And we know the password to this. We did it before. Christmas. And we get another gem. So really this is 2 gems. Which is tremendous. And here is the letter from Daniel. And a picture. And this room has sand and it's at position 4-5. So sand and, or I mean an ampersand and dunes don't work. This is an S. Okay. And let's see what we can find here. Well, perfect. The veranda is cool. Greater chance of finding items in green rooms. That's great. 2 gems is very steep. I don't want to spend 2 gems, but it would be a new room, so that's kind of alluring. But the observatory is great. 1 gem, no problem. And, look at this, a 2nd star. Great. So let's look in and see what 2 stars gives us. The twins. A pair of chests have been added to the entrance hall. Great. And, okay, we see 2 more pictures here. We are at rank 5, spot 5. And we see, what, a camp or a tent and a tag or a price or a cost or a 10. So, five is 10 and tent, which is T. Awesome. All right, let's check it out. I have gems, I have keys. Okay, so the locksmith would let us buy keys for money, which is okay. The commissary goes to a dead end. So let's just take a storeroom because it gives us everything that we need. There we go. And what picture? We have a chart and a cart again. Okay, so we are at 5-4. So H. Is that right? Well, we're going to find out. Okay. Now, I think because we have 2 keys, we do have 2 gems, though, so we can do this. We have enough to pay the toll, but we can also go back to the entrance hall. We have 2 chests waiting for us. Okay, fantastic. So the courtyard is 2 doors, and so is the dining room. I want to take a courtyard. I think we actually did take this already, didn't we? Yeah, we did. But remember what we saw before in the courtyard were dirt piles? And so I'm going to take it because I have a shovel. And let's see what the shovel can do. So these dirt piles, you'll see now my mouse turns into an instrument of digging the shovel and nothing in there. It's random what we get. Ooh, a metal detector. Great. And we got some coins, or a coin. And we get the metal detector. And the metal detector just makes us have a greater chance of finding keys and coins. And if there's any keys or coins in the room, it'll beep. So that's pretty cool. No pictures in the courtyard, though. I'm going to go back to the entrance. This is a lot of steps, but I want to make sure we have all the gems possible. We lose a coin every time we go in the chapel, unfortunately. And here's a chest here. I've got keys. Let's go. Now, oh, we found the car keys. Okay. And we found a gem. Now, I'm not going to actually open the other chest right now. I know it sounds odd, but I don't want to have no keys, because if this door is locked, then we can't get in at all, and the run's over. Now, the car keys are awesome for drafting, well, we'll find out, but they're good. And, yep, indeed, look, it was locked. Okay, good to know. We use our last key. Ugh. Okay. These aren't great. Dead end. Dark room. We'll have to do the dark room to continue. But check out the dark room. Looks fine right now, right? power goes out. So the power is out. And unless we have the utility box to turn on the power to this room, then we can't even interact with anything or see anything. And if we go to draft, look at this, we don't know what we're going to get. Now, I'm going to take a room that takes gems. I don't know if this is going to be good or not, but I like, in general, rooms that take gems. And, oh, great. We got the Rumpus room. Okay, so we made it all the way to rank 6, and we have the Rumpus room. You see our metal detector in the upper right blinking? That means there's stuff to pick up in here. And look at this. There's a bunch of coins. I mean, a bunch. And just look around, see what you can find. There's a picture of someone painting the earth. Or brush, sky, plane, paint, fly, dry. What are those images of? Make your notes and check this out. This is Alzara, an intriguing machine. Insert a coin if you have one.
And, as it was foretold, I am awakened at the sound of a dropping coin. You find yourself face to face with the great Alzara. And I suspect you wish me to look into your future. The image is becoming clear. I see a boy standing on a shore of white sand. He is looking for something he was told he would not find. I see a black cat tied to a red flag. I hear the wind blowing, but the flag does not stir. I see a door marked by a rogue moon. A door that is always locked, yet has no key. It is the door you have been searching for, yet will not find. A lost room beyond the dark waters. What you have heard here has been foreseen by the great Alzara. Until the dawn of the following day, I will have nothing more to say.
So obviously what this means is you need to come back again to get your next future told. And each time you see Alzara, or at least let's just say the next time, it'll be a different future. And you get more glimpses, more clues. Make sure you're taking notes of the clues that you've received. So we found the Rumpus room. And we are at rank 6-3. So let's go ahead and fill this in. This is a purple room. It has a bishop. It has Alzara. It had a bunch of coins in it. And it has pictures of, well, at least at this location, and 6-3, we found pictures of paint and a plane. So we need to figure out, exactly what is going on there with those two pictures. Okay. And excellent. There's also a fish. Who doesn't like a nice fish, a gramophone? Well, this is just a regular record player. Radio, TV, couple TVs. Awesome room. Okay, so what can we get up here, huh? Locked. Oh no, we're out of keys. We have no keys, so we can't make any progress. But to be honest, that's okay. We had a really, really good run today. And it's worth just thinking about, the fortune that we saw, the sand, the cat with the flag. What did all of that mean? And if none of that little video, that sequence, made any sense to us, then we can find out more in the lore of the game, and then maybe it'll actually make sense in hindsight. One thing I do want to mention is if you push R, you bring up the room directory, and this allows you to kind of see which rooms from the deck you've drawn. You can see, where we've gone, all the ones that we're missing, and you can get some more information about the room, what type it is, blueprint, its commonplace, how many times you've drafted it. The game does a great job of keeping track of, like, the stats, This is a standard rarity hallway. We've drafted it one time. There's the flavor text here. So this is a very nice way to keep track of all that. And we're missing a key that we would like to use. Obviously, we'd like to use the key even to open the chest in the entrance hall, but we don't have any. We don't have a commissary. We don't have a locksmith. We don't have a great number of places to spend our money. But here's something you can do. Before you end a day in a situation like this, what I want you to do is, we'll lose money, of course, to the chapel, but go out. Back. We already observed the fountain, but we didn't do it when we had money. And you see how if you approach the fountain, when you have coins, in the bottom left it says make a wish, and you can throw some money in there. You can make yourself a wish. Now, you're only doing this once at a time, but it's a good way to kind of, participate in this event. We don't know exactly what it does. It seems good before we end. And this is a good place to end our second day. We have now made, a bunch of breakthroughs in understanding the mystery. We got the metal detector, we got the magnifying glass, we got the shovel. The magnifying glass actually helped us out tremendously. And oh, you know what? Let's check out something else with the magnifying glass. Let's look at this stamp. This stamp says the Morajai 4 cents and the White Sea of Yori. And you could see there's like an island mass. It's a blue stamp. And so is this important information? I don't know. Let's write it down. Once you've got that magnifying glass, it's worth checking all of this stuff. So it's the Mora Jai, the White Sea of Yori, 4 cents. Okay. So that is another clue that we can observe. And is there anything else that we could pick up and examine with the magnifying glass. There's a photo in the boudoir. There's the kitchen menu. There's the nursery rhyme book about the Red Prince. There's the letter in the guest bedroom. But overall, I think we've done a good job here, and this is a good place to end it. You're not going to get perfect selection each time, and honestly, the way I view the progress is each and every time I can simply learn more about the game, learn more about the puzzles, understand better about drafting, learn about each room. I'm making progress. Remember, there's no limit here on the days. Take your time. Now we also know about the shovel, the magnifying glass, the metal detector. We didn't figure out what to do with the car keys, but we did discover them. We got another star. We've got a bunch of new rooms, and I'm just going to click call it a day. And I'm going to say call it and get our summary. And you can see here our qualification, or the name that we got, is the Rustic Villa, and you're going to get a name based on kind of like how many rooms you build, and then in what color orientation you build, like what is the predominant color of the rooms that you've built. We got 7 new rooms. We reached all the way up to rank 6. We got 4 items. Fantastic. Everyone, I hope you're still finding this series to be useful and fun. There's so much to unpack, so much to explore, but as long as we keep building up our notes, we are going to be making good progress. And also remember, we have now figured out the positions and the letters mean something. Not necessarily the rooms are what determines the portraits, but the position on the grid, and that's another big clue too. Okay, everybody, thanks for watching. Take care.